Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by the live tonight. Hey, Russell, good to see you. I see John and Lindy, Brian. Brian, good to hear the water's getting up in Mooney, but still murky as hell. I'll deal with the murky water as long as I can put my boat in the lake. So, hey, thanks for everybody for stopping by. I'll give it a few minutes before we dive into this. We want to talk about we've got a tentative schedule put together for our tournaments for 2023. Got a map kind of outlining some of the regions. I want to get your guys' opinion. I know I've got a lot of new subscribers that have jumped into my channel. If you're on, I'll kind of dive in a little bit here in about 3 or 4 minutes once everybody gets in about how we run our tournaments. Give you an idea. Hey, Backlash, good to see you here. Backlash, I know you fish with Patrick from Paul Man's Fishing a lot. I don't know your name. What's your name, my friend? Throw that out there where I can know that. Hey, Russell, good to see you here. Got quite a few people jumping in. Like I said, we'll kind of go slow here until everybody gets in. I did some back of the napkin drawings of maps and things of that nature to kind of regionalize our big bass tournaments for this year. I know last year, one of my biggest complaints, I had a guy from New York send me this big, long email about how the lakes in New York were iced over in April still from fishing. Bird's Nest is fine. Okay, I'll call you Bird's Nest. And he couldn't fish in our tournament. So I thought maybe this year I'm going to regionalize our big bass tournaments, which is going to kick off our 2023 free online tournaments. So we'll talk about that a little bit here. Hey, Rob, good to see you in here. Thanks for stopping by. And hey, Rob, thanks for giving me a shout out with the tackle pack and everything. Congratulations on being one of the winners. And everybody, if you're new or wondering, yes, probably next week, I will do a 1,000 subscriber setup for a giveaway. I sped from like 600-700 subscribers. Now I'm up at like over 1,200 subscribers. So I will do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. It may end up being a 1,500 subscriber giveaway at this point. So it's Gary Backlash. It's a professional overline. Gary, I've seen you backlash, buddy. It's a backlash. Hey, yeah, thanks, Russell. If you can give me a good thumbs up, that'd be great. Beat the old algorithm. It's Matthew or Matt. Oh, hey, Matt. And I'll refer to you as Bird's Nest from now on. So thanks for stopping by. And I'm sure you're interested because, Patrick won our 5-bass draw tournament, and I'm going to shake it up a little bit this year on that 5-bass draw. That seems to be a good format for a tournament. It worked out really well. We had a lot of folks that thought they were going to do real well, and everyone did real well. Everybody caught bass, had fun, but that last period really stumped a few folks. It's a good format, so we're going to go with that. I'm going to throw the link up. If anyone wants to jump in and join me, that's in the discussion. Please jump up into the live. I'll chat with you if you want to jump in. So I've got a slide put together which I've done for my website. There will be a Shane Flynn Outdoors website here real soon. I'm working with the creators now. For some of you already know, John, Lindy, Gary, I am an LLC now. We are a corporation. I had to do that. Yeah, John, I see you, dang hurricane. Had to do that because we're, with these tournaments, we're going pretty quick and want to, set aside protect the household, if you will. So we decided to go ahead and make Shane Flynn Outdoors an LLC. And also helps me in driving sponsors. Got lots of interest in sponsors. We got like 5 or 6 emails in the last 3 or 4 days on sponsorship. So hopefully that's going to work out. What I don't want to do, though, and I've been warned greatly, if you ask for sponsorship, You might get a garage full of tackle you'll never get rid of. I don't want that. Hey, we all love tackle. Someone made the joke the other night that when Tackle Warehouse runs low on tackle, they call me. Maybe. But we're definitely going to branch out here and this year with some sponsorship and hopefully a lot of goodies to give out. Not only to like first and second and third place in our tournaments this year. I may expand that depending on how well the sponsorship gets up. I'm definitely going to do an every tournament. I know we're going to start this year in the big bass tournaments, but every tournament I'm going to do a big bass prize. If you're in the five bass draw, or if you're in the 3 bass draw, and I got a new format that everybody should be interested in. I don't get into too much detail yet, but get everybody a little piece of the pie that participates. So without further ado, let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here. And was present. I always goof this up, so bear with me. Share screen. Share screen. And I know I'm talking to myself. Sorry, guys. And I'm sharing the wrong one, I bet. Can everybody see that? Sorry, guys. My computer just froze up. Sorry. My computer froze up. It's going to take a second here. Hate this dead time, but I'm trying to get this right. Can everybody see those dates for the share screen? There we go. Everybody should be seeing this. So I got the dates up there that I've kind of got lined out for. I'm going to do a southern region, a western region, and a northern region big bass tournaments. Southern region starts 20 March and 23 April. Western's 20 April to 21 May, as you see there, and Northern's 10 May to 11 June. Like I said, I got a lot of flack last year about folks up in New York and Vermont and Michigan, and rightfully so. They could not participate in the big bass tournament. But those are the dates I've got set up for our big bass tournament, and they're going to be regional. Now, the summer tournament is going to be that 5 bass draw format, and that's going to run from 1 July to 12 August. And then I will do a smallmouth only tournament mid-August to mid-September, and then we'll do a fall slam like we did last year. I'm going to hold that format because I'm going to change the format for that fall slam. I'm considering, and this was something that Brian Green brought up. Brian, I'm considering doing a team tournament for that. But I want to do the team tournament with a twist. You've got to be in different regions to be on a team. So I want to, we'll look into that. I'll consider that. What I really want to do is see what kind of participation I get out of the regional big bass tournaments before we jump into that. So a lot of you are probably asking if what region am I in? I'm going to hit this slide here. This is what I have right now up for discussion on what the regions will be. You can see I got a south, a north, and a green or a west region. So basically, if your lakes are unfrozen in March, you're in the southern region. If your lakes are frozen in March, you're in the northern region, and the west is kind of in between, right? The west, you get a lot of different fluctuations for mountains and things of that nature. So right now, tentatively, this is what I have for the south region. The red here, the blue is the north region, and green is the west region. And if you're in the south, you'll compete against everybody else in the south, and vice versa, right? If you're in the north, you'll compete against northwest versus west. So if you're in one of the regional states like West Virginia, where you can fish in West Virginia, Maryland, or Virginia, hey, good on you. You can participate in all three or two of these regions, but your fish have to be caught in the state in the red or the state in the blue. If you're fishing in the north tournament, you have to be in West Virginia. If you're fishing in the south side, all your fish have to be caught in Virginia. I will get into the details how I can figure that out in a bit, but if you're in a border state, I'll let you consider it, but you have to be your catches have to be in a red state. So now I'm going to go out on a limb, and probably some of you are like, I'm in Virginia and I'm fishing against somebody in Texas or Florida. Well, I thought about this long and hard. In March, April is our prime time. And I'm going to use Virginia. Prime time in Virginia to catch big bass. That's our pre-spawn, spawn time frame. Texas and Florida is in the post-spawn. So you get a little bit of advantage, I think, Virginia, North Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, because that's when you're going to catch your biggest bass in that time frame due to pre-spawn, spawn. Now, truth be told, last year, and I know Lindia, who is on here, I'm sure now, and I'm going to stop sharing for a moment because I can't see your comments when I'm sharing. Alaska should be north. Well, okay, Gary, that's true. Truth be told, last year, Lindia won from Florida. She hands down won the tournament. I think, Lindy, I didn't go back and look. I think it's 22 3/4 was your bass. It's all length. Yes, this is length. It's not weight. Thank you, James. All length. Weight is a secondary factor. You can turn in a weight, and if I have a tie, we go to the weight. Can we back up the southern up to 1 March? Yeah, we can. I don't have a problem with that. Rob's like, haha, John is still going to have to fish against Lindia. Hey, if you've watched my version of when I went down and fished with John and Lindia down in Kenansville or at Donkeyland, I made the comment, John's a fisherman, but Lindia is a fisherman. She gets about 20% more cast than John, because John's going to tell me stories. Yeah, that's the competition. But, truth be told, last year, if I was fishing in my own tournament, I caught 2 bass that were larger than anyone turned in Virginia. So anyone can win. It's fishing, right? I did consider that, Brian, thinking about going to 1 March to 1 April. John goes, that's with a guest. When it's just us, we don't talk. I know better, John. I know better. You're going to talk. So I'll take it into consideration. I may back it up a little bit. I was really John cracks me up. Yeah, I know she's heard them all. I think I may back that up in at least a week. I was thinking about that the other day because there's no ice on the water in Virginia, in Missouri, Kentucky, any of those border states of the South. And that's a good time of year for us. And, honestly, I think it's a good time for everybody. It's a little bit post-spawn in Florida. Nick, you said, hey, thanks for tuning in, Nick. You're going through bass withdrawals. I am too. If you can't tell, I'm in a hotel room I'm in Oklahoma. I'm in my hometown of McAlester, Oklahoma, visiting my family. Me and my dad are going to go out tomorrow. It's going to be it's going to be about 60 degrees. There was ice on the water on Tuesday when I was driving by the lakes here in Oklahoma. So we're going to try to get out and get sun. Hey, Chase, thanks for jumping in. I will throw up the dates again in just a second. I just want to jump over here and make sure I was getting the comments. I'll throw up the dates and I'll throw up the map again as well. I just want to make sure I'm getting all the comments in here. Butch. Hey, Butch, thanks for jumping in. Butch is an old Air Force acquaintance from way, way back in Altus Air Force Base, Oklahoma. So, any other concerns or consideration? And I seen the date. I'll throw the dates up there again. I was hoping Mike Pendleton from Big Bass Posse would jump in. I really want to make sure. Yeah, Russell, I know you're froze up in Indiana. I was watching Mike from Reese Life Dad Life. You froze up. Yeah, Brian, I'm flying on Friday, or I'd be on the water. I'm flying back to Virginia. Saturday, I may still go out. I really want to get somebody, Russell, maybe you're a smallmouth fisherman. I want to make sure I got a good time for that smallmouth only tournament. I promised I would do that, and I'm going to do that. I just want to make sure those dates are pretty good dates for prime smallmouth time. All this is tentative. I'm doing this live. You can come back and look at it. The dates are still tentative. I'm going to adjust a little bit. The other thing I'll tell you is I'm going to do some mass advertisement on YouTube and on Facebook to get these tournaments advertised out there once we finalize them. I'm pretty close on these dates, but like I said, maybe moving a week or two back, week or left or right, and we'll see where they go. But I want to, we were close to 200 on our last tournament. I'd like to see that or more when we start off on these big bass tournaments. So I'm gonna take a little coin out of my pocket and do some advertisement on YouTube and see how that works. Hey, Brian, you say cold water is fine. If you follow James on Cranking and Yanking, he had a little boat dismount fiasco a week or so ago and got wet. Ted called. His wife is going to drop off him Friday. Oh, Ted from Off the Hook. I was watching his premiere tonight. Man, I hope y'all tear him up, John. I've watched enough Ted deer hunting videos. It's time for some fishing. Deer hunting's. I'm ready for fishing. Will there be a uniform measuring board for these tournaments? Great question, J.A. Mixon. There is not a uniform measuring board. I am going to make a recommendation to everybody when I send out the instructions on a measuring board, and here's why. Yeah, I am going to be busy. Here's the reason why. The last tournament I did, almost everybody had a great bump board. All you need is a bump board. But many people only had a 24-inch bump board. They had a 22 or a 24. You need something at least 26, and they make one that expands out that goes up to 30. So the big bass of our last tournament, no doubt, was the biggest bass of the tournament. No one caught one over 24 inches, but Aaron Stoops. And Aaron, if you're on here, I apologize it took so long to get your prize to you, but we finally got it taken care of. He had a 24-inch bump board, and his bass was probably 25 and a half. So you need a bump board that's long enough. I am going to make a recommendation. I'll send that out later. But the bump board, all of them are in inches. We do everything in inches, obviously. But I will make a recommendation for the standard bump board. I'm not going to disqualify anyone who has a good bump board. But what I'm going to do in the future, if your bass is longer than your bump board, I can't accept it. I just can't accept it. James is on fire right tonight. John, you don't need a bump board at 24 inches. Lindia does, but you don't. So you do need a bump board that's going to be, I'd say, if you catch a 26-inch bass, you've got a monster. anyway. But your bump board needs to be at least 26, I think. And the standard one that I'm going to send out as a recommendation, I don't have it with me. It was a good question. Maybe I'll just look at it right now. It's called the Golden Rule bump board, if I'm not mistaken. It's about $17. Let me just look at it real quick while I'm sitting here. Just to make sure I'm not Golden Rule bump board. Yes, golden. It's $12.99. No, that's not the right one. Just making sure I give you the right one. Yeah, so it's called the Golden Rule Measuring Board. The Gator Golden Rule Measuring Board is my recommendation. If you can get it at Tackle Warehouse for $14.50, it goes out to 30 inches. That is a good bump board. But as long as your bump board is very clear in inches in the markings, I can't disqualify you. And oh, by the way, if you try to cheat, I'll figure you out. That's not. We haven't had any issues with anyone trying to fix anything or anything like that. Yes, Brian, I will be sending out the instructions. It will be 1/4 inch measurements this year. Everything will be in 1/4 inch. You either be to the quarter or less than the quarter. And if there's a tie and I can see a distinct from the measurement, I will make that call as the tournament director. But the Golden Rule measurement board is what I'm recommending. Gator grip, and it goes out to 30 inches. I think that's a good board, and it's pretty inexpensive. That's what I'm going to recommend to everybody. Who was that asked that question? J.A. Mixon. Yeah. I would love to tell you that there's one great measuring board, but as long as it's got that square end and you can put the nose and close the mouth, you can pinch the tail, by the way, to get that longest length. Long as you can get that in the photo to get your length, I'm good with that. So. John said you broke many a golden rule. I'm sure you have, John. I'm sure you have. Yeah, we're gonna. I'm glad you brought that up, Brian, on the 1/4 inch measurement. I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch, unless I can see if in a tie that one's distinctly longer than the other by a good 1/8 of an inch. But again, that'll be my call as a tournament director. What I don't want to do is get into, and I had this a couple times last year where they had an 18-inch bump board and the fish were 19. I couldn't tell. I'm just not going to accept those this year. Batty hasn't. Oh yeah, I seen those big photos today, John. So So while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw up the dates again. Here we go. Here are the dates right now, and I probably will move the South back a week at least. I'm going to change that. I'm pretty confident in doing that one. The West and the North, I think we're going to stay there. I don't see any reason definitely on the North. 10 May is cutting it close in the Dakotas, in Minnesota. I know that because we fished there. Me and Gary did. But this is what we have right now. And that fall slam, like I said, we're going to change the format. I don't want to get too far ahead in my skis on that until I get some good data on how I want to make that tournament work out. The prizes will be right now the standard Tackle Warehouse gift card, $150, $150, $150 for first, or what do I typically do? Whatever I typically do, 200, 100, 50. $200 for first, $100 for second, $50 for third place. That's going to be the standard. Something that I'm considering, and this is the other thing I wanted to throw out, these are free to enter. Anyone, you don't need to be in a boat. You don't need to have to be on the bank. From the bank to the boat to the kayak to the canoe, free to enter. Anyone can enter these tournaments. But it was brought to my attention, what about side bets? I think that's something to consider. If a couple of folks want to jump in and do side bets, it will be only for the folks that enter the side bet tournaments on the side. If you don't enter you don't have to enter the side bets. But if you would like to, I'm probably going to throw that out this year. I just need to determine how I'm going to collect that type of info. I think I can do it off Facebook now that I'm getting close to that monetized. I think I can get money in the lives if you want to jump into a side bet. It could be $5, $10. We'll let everybody determine what the minimum will be, but that will be a side bet amongst everyone that wants to do the side bets for another pot. But again, still totally free to enter. I want to keep it that way. But if you're interested in doing some side bets, I think that's something we can jump on. Here is the regional map one more time. I will send these out once this is finalized. I got the dates finalized. Everybody will get to see these. It'll be on my new website as well. This is the north, south, Alaska, Gary. Yeah, you're right. It should be north. By the way, Gary, there's no bass in Alaska. You have fished there with me. So, one more time, the dates. Again, probably going to adjust the south date about a week, but the others will stay the same for right now. And there we go. I don't see many new comments. Here we go. I got $20 says one of us wins, as in me or Lindia. Hey, there you go. No, it's going to be tough for me to fish. I'm still going to fish, by the way. I can't enter my own tournaments, but I'll still be out there fishing. Brian, you'll see me on the lake. But yeah, there's going to be quite a few. I'm sure there'll be. Chris, I'm glad you liked the PA was close, man. I was like, I know, like where you live in PA, there's no ice in March, but the rest of the state there could be some ice on the lake still. So I didn't see anything about side bets other than John. We'll see how that goes. We got a lot more time before this gets finalized and we start advertising. But I like the idea. Brew Tank says free sounds good. All of our tournaments are free. Brew Tank, thanks for stopping by. And they will be free as long as I can keep this going, which hopefully as we continue to progress, we'll get more sponsorship and we'll get a lot more prizes. And like I said, if I get enough sponsorship, it'll be more than first, second, and third. And big bass if it's not a big bass tournament. Side bet, big fish. Yeah, sure. However you guys want to do it. What I'll probably do when we get about 2 weeks out, I'll hold a live. This is what I'm thinking. Give instructions on how to do a side bet, whatever it is. Give $20 on this once I get monetized, or send me an email and I'll send you a link for a Cash App or something. We can figure that out. It'll be 100%. I won't take anything away, whatever it is. If we have $500 in side bets, we'll pay out $500 in side bets. Well, Russell, that is the key to fishing, right? The weather can always be a factor. I did not expect to see, I'm down in southeast Oklahoma right now, and only about once every 10 years do you get ice on the lakes. And we got ice on the lakes in Oklahoma right now, significant ice. Or it's melted off, probably most of it melted off today. But Snowmageddon in 2010 in the Virginia, Maryland area, what did we have, 3 foot of snow for over a 2 or 3 week period? closed everything down. You never know. Things crazy can happen. You know, the hurricane season last year, and John, I know it affected you in Lindia getting out, but that's part of it. Just keep it under 1,600. Don't want the IRS asking for my 1099. Hey, we'll see what we can do. I'm not a fan of the IRS myself, so we'll do what we'll see what we can do. Yeah, Brian, the weather in March can be crazy, but you and I both know in Virginia, man, that's our big bass time. Definitely our big bass time. Damien, I thanks for jumping in. Good to see you here. Yeah, you can catch some big ones on swim bait. Swim bait's a good. I have probably, I know John, Lindia, Brian, Russell. All would say yes, you can catch giant bass on a swim bait. It's good bait, really good bait. So, if any, I'm going to throw. Hey, Gary, I see you down there. Hey buddy.
What's up?
Good. I don't know how long you're waiting down there. Sorry.
I signed on about 30 minutes ago. No big deal.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the? Wait a minute. James said, I feel like I'm going to be ignored. One too many live scope jokes, I guess. Hey, I may put my live scope up as a prize if James wins. If James wins, I'm going to send him my live scope.
Yeah, right. So,
any thoughts on the dates or on the side bets, anything like that?
No, but I have a thought. I didn't say Alaska. I fished Alaska. I know there's no bass there.
No. All right.
So I'm going to tattletale. It was dad life.
Oh, Mike. All right.
You said it 3 times. You keep going, Gary. There's no bass in Alaska, and I'm like, I know. I've been fished there. So, anyways, no. I love your tournaments. I just want to thank you on behalf of everybody else who's not on the screen. Thanks again for holding them. Anything with a free tournament and getting money or just having a good time is great. So
yeah. Well, I hope we can do. No, Nick, striped bass do not count. It is.
I wish they did. I'd fingered some hogs from Massachusetts.
Largemouth and smallmouth species only.
Yeah.
Who were we? Oh, when we were fishing at Lake Eufaula in that tournament a couple months ago, the one guy who was in the hunt, I think he got second place in the tournament. He beat me.
He beat you in second place. He went out in the morning, and the fish were exploding, and he just casted and casted and casted, and he for 4 hours he just reeled up nothing but striper
bass. Yeah,
which is good because I mean, bass actually, they're in those bass are in those striper schools, so you got a chance of catching a nice bass in the striper schools, but he didn't. He probably caught 30 stripers, and then he finally left. Yeah.
That was funny. He came into the boat ramp. He's like, "Man, I killed them, but they're all stripes."
Yeah, all with stripes. Yeah. We don't keep the zebra fish.
Yeah. Something I just thought about. I am going to change a couple of our tournament rules. I want to throw this out there. I am not going to allow live bait this year. Last year we allowed live bait. It will be terminal tackle on artificials. And I know, Rob, you're the shiner guy, but for the tournaments we're going to go, and I love shiner fishing, but the tournaments we're going to go terminal tackle only with artificial lures. And terminal tackle is rod and reel, right? Everybody should know that.
I got to throw something in there. So for the bump boards, you mentioned the golden rule. That's fine. There's another one that I have, which is the Rapala. It's a plastic, but it's I think it's like 19 or 20 inches normally, but it slides open, and it's fairly reasonable. You can get them, pretty much at Walmart or any store, and the price is reasonable. If you're going to fish and go out anyways, you should always. We all want to know what our bass is either going to weigh or measure. So, everybody by now should at least have a bump board. or something to measure it with. Unfortunately, you can't use a ruler in the tournament, so that's why we use bump boards. But the Rapala is another good choice besides the golden rule.
Yeah, Rob, I got you. I'm busting you because you called that Shiner guy on that. But yeah, I think Russell, if I'm not mistaken, you utilize that expandable. It's gray colored.
Yes,
the Rapala. I know Russell uses that one. A couple other folks do too, but that's a good one as well. What I'll do is when I send out the instructions, for all you folks that follow me or have fished the tournaments, I send out very detailed instructions on how to register your catch and measure your fish. Last year, I sent out one recommendation for a bump board if you didn't have one, and it was a Rapala one, but it was a fold-out one. I will put out a couple of them. I'm not going to say you have to use this exact bump board, as long as it measures in inches. It's not homemade,
Yeah, no homemade bump boards.
no homemade bump boards. And if I look at it and it's in centimeters, you're out. So fortunately, though, we hadn't had any of that. So I was just looking here, making sure I got covering all the comments.
Yeah, your regions are reasonable for the, it's, I want to assume it's kind of like based off of Bassmasters regions and all those.
It's pretty close. I think the only one that I have that's not in the Bassmaster region is Alaska. Maryland is considered north in BASS.
It's north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, it is, but it's
that's where the north starts, Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, JA, you'll be on my. I'll get you. Send me an email at shaneflintoutdoors@yahoo.com, and I'll make sure you're on my email list. I'm putting that in the comments. Sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time there, Gary. I'm not.
All right. I can't either, so don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah, so Jay, I just put it out there, shaneflintoutdoors@yahoo.com. I'll make sure, and trust me, Jay, if you're subscribed and you're hitting and you're seeing this, there'll be tons and tons of info coming out on these tournaments. I'm doing this because I didn't put a video out this week, A, and B, I just wanted to make sure I get the conversation started about the upcoming tournaments to get all the get everybody kind of interested in it. What is Gary can't fish and talk at the same time? Hey, wait. I'm gonna.
Actually, I can't do two things at the same time. Well, actually, I can, but
Brian,
catching fish without talking. Never mind talking. So
yeah, I was gonna refer back to some of our exploits in our last tournament we fished. Brian, I wish he'd have been quieter at times.
Yeah, I can get talking.
Yeah. John says it looks like you've been riding a Vespa.
I took a nap earlier and didn't do my hair before I got online. So yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed, buddy. I mean,
I can do this if everybody likes it. We just go like that. There you go.
There you go.
Vespa disappeared. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
Is that better, John?
Yeah. After the regional, will there be
I'm going to take it off because I like it like that. So.
After the regional, will there be a fish off for those winners to determine the king or queen in case Buck wins? I love James, man. I love you, dude. You crack me up all the time. By the way, let me throw this out there. I have a Fish Chatter episode coming out. Me and James did one. James is just getting over COVID. It'll be probably the second week of January, somewhere in there. I'll be throwing out that Fish Chatter episode where I do an interview with James. It's great. But we're not going to do a fish off. But I have been considering how do we do like an angler of the year type for these free tournaments. I'm considering that. It's kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
With online tournaments, but if anybody has an idea, shoot it out, jump on here now, tell me, or shoot me an email or send me a text if you got one.
I mean, the only way to do it is, I mean, you can do an Angler of the Year, and if somebody, but you have the regions broke up.
Right.
So though, you have regions, and then you have, so you have four, 3 different tournaments going on regions, and each person can only do one region. Then you have the 5 bass draw on the other ones.
Yeah.
So you would have to feature a region and the other 3 tournaments, and then it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot. I can figure it out though. Damien, yes, you can fish private, public. I don't care where you fish at. Mud puddle, wherever you want to fish and catch fish, that's all that matters. Yep. And the other thing to consider, and I mean this, and some of you take advantage of this, if you have like a regional club, like Gary fishes his regional tournament down at Lunkers, if you're fishing that tournament for another pot and you want to count your fish in the same date time frame for our tournaments, you can count them.
Yeah, if you're just a fishing day.
It's just a fishing day, right? So how about so you can count them if you're out there. Steve, thanks for jumping in. How about a point system based on how you place in tournament? Yeah, Russell, that's what I'm thinking. That could work. But what I would like to do something like a top 5 fish off or a top 10 fish off. But we get towards the end of the year, and if somebody in the north is in the top 3 and their lakes are frozen, I don't want them ice fishing and trying to compete with somebody that's fishing down in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, or whatever. So it's kind of tough. I think if we back the tournaments up, I'll look into it. I will.
That is a tough call doing because it's the Angler of the Year on this. It's Angler of the Year for the Lunkers Bass Club. It's fine. You got 20 people signed up for your club, and that's it. You got I don't know how many.
Hey, Brian, I agree with you. If you win a tournament and you are fishing the pocket fisherman, you're the Angler of the Year.
I was wondering what you were laughing at when I was talking, because I was talking to you, started just laughing. I'm like, it's not that funny, So.
And James asked, can I hire Lindy to fish for me? Hey, if Lindy is a gun for hire, she's a gun for hire. I can't hold that. I can't say yes or no to that. That's all up to Lindy.
As long as your number is shown on that fish and you're the picture, hey, great. If she caught it. No, that's
I will say, if I see your number,
illegal. We shouldn't even be teasing about that. Yeah, no, you got to catch your own fish.
Yeah. If I see your number in Lydia's face next to the bass, no.
Yeah, you're from Virginia and she's measuring a bass in Florida with your number. That's not cool. Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't do that. But I just seen John goes, if that's the case, I'm hiring her to fish for me. I have a feeling no way. If Lindy is not on here, John, and she may not be because she has her own YouTube handle, she's probably going, no, I'm going to whoop your tail, is what she's probably saying. I can do that, James. PayPal. Well, Retro has fished with one. Oh, that's right. That's a good point. Retro has that pocket fisherman. If you guys aren't watching Retro Bass, and
remember the pocket fisherman.
Yeah, I remember it. It's a piece of junk. Yeah, but if you win a bass tournament fishing the pocket fisherman, you're the man.
Yep. If somebody wins your tournament with a pocket fisherman, I will add $50 cash to the main prize.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Lindy just jumped in and said, "Boy, did I come in at the right time."
Hey, Lindy. But yeah, I will. If somebody can prove that they won your tournament with a pocket fisherman, whatever your prize is, I will personally add $50 to it in a Tackle Warehouse gift card.
Yeah, that would be if you watch Retro's a review of that. It's not a rod and reel combo that does much for you. So
that's why I'm offering the $50 to pay. I don't have much to lose. It's probably not going to happen, So,
yeah, I think you're safe.
yeah, I think
Lindy,
I'm safe. That's why I said it. Yeah, but I
hey,
am a man of
Lindy.
my words. I will do it.
Yeah. Hey, Lindy, thanks for jumping in. She said, I'm expensive. Just ask John. That's great.
Lord.
All right. I'm just going to throw the link up there if anybody else wants to jump in for the stream.
Yeah, please. Somebody else jump in. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I've seen some challenges on YouTube. You guys have probably already seen where they go to Walmart and you buy the cheapest rod and reel you can get, and whoever catches the most fish in their rod, with their cheapest rod and reel, can't change the line. Everything has to be bought in
Usually the Barbie rod,
Yeah, Barbie rod or whatever. That's kind of cool. That's fun. Hey Rob, you're jelly because we're going out with Norm G. Oh, you guys go. Hey, wait. Now I'm jelly. You going out? Who's going out with Norm G? Wait, James, I do payment plans. No, I missed a comment in here, but yeah. I don't know what James is paying $9.99 a month to John for. But hey, we're a respectful organization here. So is the mortgage company, John. That's the problem. Yeah. Oh, Norm G's going crappie fishing with you tomorrow. That's awesome. John and Lindy has been catching some slabs down there on Okeechobee. They've been tearing them up. This is the time of year for them for the crappie. I got to ask, Shane, for the bank fishermen, are you going a bank only tournament? I've kicked it around, and I've only had like 2 people ask. If I get enough people, if I get at least 25 people saying, I want to, I'm interested in a bank only tournament, I will do it. 25. But I've only had like 3 or 4 people ask. And that's 3 or 4 people over the 3 tournaments. I'm not just asking. Okay. I would love to do it, and I will sponsor it, but I need at least 25 people to be interested in doing a bank only tournament. I've had at least there's 2 guys at Mooney who have brought it up to me locally, and you may know who they are, Brian, but I've only had 1 online. Oh, Nick, you're saying you wouldn't mind doing a bank only tournament? Okay, there's 1. I know that's 3 or 4.
The bank owns James.
Oh, Brian just brought up a good point. Yeah. A kids fishing tournament. I may consider that. And Butch is an Indiana bank fisherman. Okay. So okay. I may kick that around. Give me a minute to think about that. I may add that because I told everybody to do 6 to 7 tournaments this year, and right now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could add a bank only tournament. Yeah. Russell may win them. Russell's the bank master. He puts on those hip waders, and man, it's all over. Yeah, you got a good point, Brian. A lot of exposure with the kids. Andrew, thanks for jumping in. You jump fish for the bank for bass. All right. It's looking like I'm getting. John said, "Kids, is that age or mentally?" John, you qualify for a kid most of the time. John's just looking for an edge to win, obviously.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Russ. I would have to stay out of that one. Okay. Brian, you bring up a good point. The kicker is, when do I do that? Let me look into this. That's why I'm doing this live, is to have these conversations. Do I do a bank only?
All right. Bank only or kid only?
Yeah, that's a good one. Kid only or
So
bank.
a kid only tournament, what, again, we're all across the country. The best time of the year to catch, bass from the bank, to be good to the kids. Because obviously, you pick a bad time when they're deep, it might be a little harder to catch. So, and the country's all around the place, but there's a lot to think about with all these different types of tournaments. That's for sure.
Yeah, Brian brings up a good point. The Take a Kid Fishing Week. Every state has that. I think it's pretty
Oh
common
yeah,
across the United
yeah.
States.
Mhm.
Got the wheels turning, Brian. Definitely got the wheels turning. Part of the majority of the reason why I'm doing these free tournaments is I want to get people fishing. And it starts with kids. If we're going to have the sport continue to thrive, it takes the youth of America to continue to make it thrive. So, you bring up a good point. I need to do some research on when the Take a Kid Fishing Week is across the United States, and maybe do something. John is fighting it tonight. I'm just looking at his comments about his 8-pounders on the wall. I know, John, you got a lot of 8-pounders, but got to catch them in the tournament window too. Yeah, that's the one thing I have. Russell, you bring up a good point. You have 2 grandkids that would love a kids tourney. I've got 5, and I would take every one of my grandkids fishing. I've only took 2 of them fishing. Yeah, I need to really think about that. I need to look into what I can do to get that going, because it's a national level week, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I will have to put it, just to calm down John, we're going to have to put an age limit of 45 for kids. The mental state plus an age of 45.
You might need to put a height limit in it too. He might fall under that. So,
yeah, Brian. So you got bluegill in there. I was just thinking about the species. How do you give with the kids week? It's about getting out fishing, and you got to consider species. Do I just go who catches the longest fish?
So Shane, I'm not sure if you disappeared from my screen.
Oh, did I? Am I back? Gary?
I'm back. Shane's back.
Am I back?
We're both back.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
I was sitting here and you disappeared, and I was like, Shane, I don't know if you're gone, but I'm here. And then I disappeared. And
yeah, you said we both disappeared. So, yeah, Brian, let's consider that. Thanks, John. I think it's not species. I think we just who catches the longest fish the week of kids fishing week. Yeah, I'm going to kick that around. I'm going to definitely kick that around. So interesting. I have been fishing since I could hold a fishing pole. Yep. And I really think the kids are important to the sport. So I need to really consider that. Not just us adults with a little bit of fish ego who wants to catch the biggest, but we need to do something to help the kids.
Something to make it fun for the kids too. I mean, this is online and not in person, so it's a little maybe more harder for them to, hey, we're taking a picture, we're going to send it in online instead of personal. So, figure a way to make it more friendly for the kids, or I don't know, friendly for the kids, but interesting for the kids.
Yeah, Lindia put up some good stuff there. Have different multiple winners with different categories, 5 fish total length, including the catfish, a bluegill, or something like that. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. There's a lot of options on that. I need to think that through. But I can't give a kid a Tackle Warehouse gift card. I can give their mom or dad. Mom and dad will have to register for their kid. So, fortunately and unfortunately, however you want to look at it, when I became an LLC, I had to do some legal stuff, right? And one of the things you got to do is make sure that no minors, there's no things that could hurt minors or things of that nature. So mom and dad would have to join it for their child,
Right.
to stay on the safe side. We'll continue to have a Shameful Outdoors LLC.
You know,
Yeah, lots of options.
I mean, for a kids tournament, I mean, I think if you did it like somebody mentioned, five fish, all different lengths and all that. This is, I'm just throwing this out there. This is way early for anything like that, but as long as you qualify with five fish, because some little kid's dad who doesn't fish might take them to a lake just with sunfish, and they go catch sunfish because the dad doesn't, know how to fish, or maybe just, doesn't know there's pickerel around where, hey, I can get a sunfish or a pickerel this big. So maybe if they just qualify with five fish, every kid who catches five fish, you put them in a random draw, and it's a multiple pick, first, second, third, instead of what us adults do is for length and, more serious fishing. It's more for fun for the kids. Hey, you got five fish. We entered them in a tournament. Let's see if we win. Yay. And then the ball goes around and you get a first, second, third. Maybe for kids, we can go down to 10th, or you can go down to 10th, or whatever, But It's just an idea because it's kids and we want them to be competitive, but you don't want to be that competitive, and we're fishing multi-species. It's just not bass, and kind of to even the playing ground. Hey, enter some fish. You enter, if you enter five sunfish, hey, you're in the draw.
Yeah.
It's kind of something to do. I mean, because other than that, you figure out how you're gonna, pick a winner with 500 kids entering with five different species.
Yeah. Well, I think we can get to that.
But yeah, I know it's a long way away. I'm just throwing this out there for the squirrel to go.
Yeah. James says, give him an Xbox. It's almost the same as Live Scope.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
John's going to rent a kid.
Shane, what did I tell you the other day? I said, I ain't going to bring it up yet.
Yeah. I think, Lindy, that's a good point too, as well. And I do like what Brian said. We got enough rods and reels kicking around. We just give rods and reels as prizes. There's lots of options. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of options to think through that. Biggest fish in different species. Yeah. And there's a lot. I'm just thinking I could go down to my pond. I don't have a James pond, but I got one pretty close to a James pond. But there's a pet bass that I can catch. It's about 6 or 7 pounds, and my granddaughter could catch that. That'd be unfair, but
it's in all his videos.
Yeah. I'm letting the secret out. But I can't get my boat on that pond, so that's the only reason I don't shoot video. So yeah, I'm going to kick this around, Brian. Me and you might have a conversation offline about this, because you got some good points there, and I want to do something to help the entire fishing community.
Brian says it looks like Marty has a lot of rods and reels to give away.
Marty's got a lot of tackle period to give away. One last thing it's been an hour here, and these guys are having fun, but I'm going to kind of cut it a little bit short here because we can go on for hours if we do this. I did mention that I got a website coming out, and there's not too many new folks from our new subs on here right now, but if there are and they're not commenting, I will be putting out an email. I'll have a new website coming out. I will be providing I have all the dates of all the tournaments, put all the tournament rules on there. I'm not going to shy away from what I've been doing sending out instructions. That's all going to be the same. But if someone's curious about how we run our tournaments, there'll be a website set up. Also, one of the sponsors that I do have, it's a local bait company here in Virginia, Grey Goat Lures. He has designed a line of spitter baits for Shameful Outdoors. I'll be doing a special here pretty soon. I got 4 colors of spinnerbaits that I have kind of designed with him. They're specifically for, spinnerbaits that I like. I catch big bass on, color-wise and blade-wise. Believe it or not, they're going to be at $7 a piece, which is a steal when you buy a Molex spinnerbait for 12 or 13, 14 bucks. So we're going to cut the price in half, and I'm going to be offering those for on my website for everybody. So just throwing that out there, some merch that's coming out. And I just, he's not on here, but I may get some custom plastics done too for Shane Flynn Outdoors. We'll see. Yeah, John, if you can get some Bruiser Baits on there, I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would. The great people at Bruiser Baits. We can figure that out. So, all right, everybody, it's 8 o'clock. I was just going to do this for an hour. Thank you all for jumping in. Like I said, this was just our first conversation for the tournaments coming out. I'll have more and more coming as the year progresses. If I don't get to talk to you, if we got some other people have lives that I jump in and things of that nature. If I don't see you before the new year, Happy New Year to everybody.
Yep,
if you're
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. If you're a new subscriber, thank you. Thank you again. I will be doing a subscriber giveaway, my first new episode in 2023. Appreciate everybody that supports this channel. We've grown leaps and bounds in the last couple of months. Gary, what you told me the number the other day. What have we grown? Over 500 subs.
Your subs are going out the roof, and we tried doing the mathematical equation on it. His are going out the roof. Mine are kind of like right where it should be mathematically, but Shane, he's doing some good things on his channel. He's doing something right. He's getting plenty of subscribers and view time, and I wish Shane the best of luck, and so keep if you know anybody, and send them on over to Shane's. So
yeah. Well, don't forget Gary's Fish Tales. You got some really good content.
Gary's Fish Tales too. I know, but I'm on your channel right now, so okay, let's go this way. I could use subs more than Shane. So there you go.
Yeah. Again, thanks everybody. If you're a new subscriber, appreciate it. I'll be doing a subscriber giveaway at the end of the year, and get the word out for the tournaments. And like I always do, I'll put commercials out or like a little video out, pumping the commercials. I will this year put some money in advertising to get these tournaments out there. So thanks again, everybody, for jumping in. Happy New Year. And I'll be talking to everybody soon.
Happy New Year.